Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today, we are continuing our 5-year rebuild series here on the YouTube channel. Today, we're doing the South Carolina Gamecocks. And ladies and gentlemen, CFB 26, they've already, and I know, ladies and gentlemen, CFB 26 is around the corner. We're still doing our 5-year rebuilds here in CFB 25. We will be doing the rebuild series next year in 26, so apologize if I didn't do your team this year. You bet your darn ass I will be doing them next year. So we're doing South Carolina today. Of course, LaNorris Sellers, the quarterback from here, very special. I'm very excited for his upcoming year. Of course, they also should have made the college football playoff. They got snubbed. I'm sorry, Alabama fans. South Carolina deserved the college football playoff more than you did. Maybe over SMU and Indiana. That's debatable. But South Carolina, right now they come as an 86 overall, 85 in offense, 87 defense. They run the multiple offense and a 4-2-5 defense. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is their roster. We have quarterback LaNorris Sellers. We'll have him for 4 years. It sucks that he was a redshirt last year, but we have him this year. Robbie Ashford, I believe he's still playing college football this upcoming year. Davis, we have Reno. Running back, we have Raheem Sanders. I think he's called Rocket Sanders was his nickname. Got drafted this year. Oscar there. And then some other people there. We have a fullback in Eric O'Neill. Receivers, Monzo Bennett Jr. I think I will redshirt him. So that way we have him for 5 years, but I don't know yet. We do have Mr. Jared Brown, Jacobs, Nick Harbor. We have him. Now, we've had, by the way, Sellers and Harbor, we've had on other teams. Hopefully, we can keep them here at South Carolina for all 5 years or all their tenured. Joshua Simon, the tight end there. Nick Elks, I think he was a transfer from Old Dominion. I can't remember the school, but I know he was a transfer, I think. Tree Bright Barblade is the starting left tackle. We have 2 freshmen in Cam Pringle and Josiah Thompson. I know Cam Pringle likes to transfer in year 1, so hopefully we can keep him for 5 years. Jakiah Moore there. Marquise Anderson, I know he likes to transfer. Same with Blake Franks, we have him. See, we have Varshal Lee there. We have Simpkins III, right tackle, Henry. O-line looking all right. We have freshman Dylan Stewart. I'm probably going to redshirt him to keep him for 5 years, but I don't know yet. We do have Elijah Davis, a senior. How about Kyle Kennard? Loved what I saw from him. Wendell Gregory, freshman. We have TJ Sanders, who I believe got drafted this year. Chatankana Highway as well. Little weak at D-tackle because our seniors leaving. Jaron Willis left out. Demetrius Knight Jr., senior middle linebacker. I believe he also got drafted as well. Mohamed Kaba there. Fortnite Kilgore. Corner's looking a little all right. How about Nick Imewore? He is a junior. He's probably going to get drafted. I wish my beloved Miami Dolphins drafted him, but, it is what it is. And then safety, we have DQ Smith. And then we have a freshman kicker. That's big. And we have a punter. So the roster looks really good. We might be able to make the playoff this year, but you never know. So we got to recruit, and hopefully we have a good season to where some of our players stay and don't transfer. Dominic Roncola, committed. Max Freeland, committed. Marquez Rooks, committed. Zeke Abraham, committed. Mitch Willis, committed. Josh Pope, committed. Miles Ongajobi, committed. Ben Sampson commits. Tim Jew Dusky, committed. Kareem Littlejohn, committed. I don't know if I did them. Julius Bandy, committed. Creed Woods, committed. Keelan Carver, committed. Robert Causer, committed. Kaylon Casey, committed. Rakeem Trahan, committed. Alani Whiteheart, committed. Cade Robert, committed. Wade Scheffner, committed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a first time. Your 2024 Heisman Trophy winner, Tyler Huff, quarterback of Jacksonville State. He had 3,899 yards, 42 tutties, and 6 picks. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Real Quest Bowl, taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And ladies and gentlemen, here in year 1, we win the Real Quest Bowl. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 1 stats. LaNorris Sellers had 3,341 yards, 277 for 379, 40 tutties, 7 picks, 73% completion percentage. Rushing, Raheem Sanders, 191 for 943, 7 tutties. Sellers, 85 for 402, 5 tutties. Oscar, 59 for 277, 3 tutties. Jacobs, 23 for 299, 4 tutties. Bennett Jr., 3 for 26 with a tutty. Juju McDowell, 7 for 18. Braswell, 1 for 3. How about the receiving here? Jacobs, 59 for 817, 17 tutties. Brown, 55 for 808, 10 tutties. Bennett Jr., 50 for 666, 2 tutties. Simon, 53 for 571, 5 tutties. Raheem Sanders, 35 for 276, 2 tutties. Gage, 11 for 114, 1 tutty. Brady Hunt, 6 for 58. Oscar, 5 for 25. Braswell, 2 for 5, 2 tutties. Juju McDowell, 1 for 1 with a tutty. Defensively, 87 tackles, Bam Martin Scott, 61 for Nick Knight Jr., Fortune, 58, 57 for Kilgore. Swan with 43, DQ Smith, 42. Tackles for loss, 9 for Kyle Kennard. Tonka, 7, 6 for Dylan Stewart. DQ Smith with 5, 4 for Sanders. Bam with 3, same with Kilgore. Knight with 2, 1 for Nick and Peyton and Kaba. Sack, 6 for Tonka. Kyle Kennard with 5, 4.5 for TJ Sanders. Dylan Stewart with 3.5, 2.5 for Knight Jr., half sack for Bam. Interceptions, 4 for Fortune. Kilgore with 3, same with Swain. Bam with 2, 1 for Nick and Peyton. Ladies and gentlemen, that is year 1. On to year 2. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a weird first year, I guess. We had a Jacksonville State Heisman winner. We have a weird national championship between Colorado and Utah. Prime time, and Shedeur Sanders are going to win the Heisman here, not the Heisman, the national championship here in year 1. Wow. Jamal Haynes committed. Caleb Ransaw committed. Whit Weeks commits. Mark Stampley II committed. Caleb Downs committed. Isaac Brown commits. Ethan Johnson committed. Hazika Masses commits. Torrey Cox Jr. committed. Justice Boone commits. Max Clary committed. And ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the best recruiting class here in year 1, best in the SEC. I think next year we have a shot at winning the Natty. Ben Callaway committed. Deontay Hooker committed. Russ Hajaral Ali, probably butchered it, but he's committed. Dree Ingram committed. John McManus committed. Jermaine Wally committed. Kevin Butts committed. Tyrone Price commits. George Browning committed. Don't know if I did him. Clyde Ryder committed. Trent Wester committed. J.R. Gentry committed. Reggie Durr committed. Lawrence Coxey commits. Ricky Sharp committed. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be going to the SEC Championship, taking on the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Heisman Trophy winner is Cade Klubnik, quarterback of Clemson. He had 4,304 yards, 48 tutties, and 3 picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Texas Bowl, taking on Oklahoma State. And ladies and gentlemen, we lost by 1 to Oklahoma State in the Texas Bowl. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 2 stats. Lenora Sellers had 3,369 yards, 255 for 381, 34 tutties, 11 picks, 66% completion percentage. Rushing, Haynes, 224 for 982, 6 tutties. Sellers, 115 for 576, 3 tutties. Jacobs, 31 for 193, 6 tutties. Brown, 51 for 135, 4 tutties. Braswell, 4 for 9. How about the receiving? Bennett Jr., 59 for 901, 4 tutties. Brown, 46 for 782, 7 tutties. Jacobs, 58 for 684, 11 tutties. Max Clare, 37 for 409, 4 tutties. DeBron, 19 for 301, 4 tutties. Haynes, 22 for 201, 3 tutties. Brown, 11 for 69, 1 tutty. And Brady Hunt, 3 for 22. How about the defense here? Nick Emenwari, surprisingly, he didn't declare for the draft. He stayed with us, had 83 tackles. Weeks, 75. Kilgore, 67. Swain, 64. Masses, 52. Caleb Downs with 50. 45 for Sanders. And Caleb Ransaw, 42. Tackles for loss, Dylan Stewart, 13. 11 for TJ Sanders. 4 for Desmond. 3 for Witt, Kilgore, Boone, and Zeke. 2 for Nick and Jaron. 1 for Swain, Masses, Ransaw, and Andrew. Sacks, 9.5 for TJ Sanders. Boone, 7.5. 5 for Dylan Stewart, 2.5 for Desmond, 2 for Weeks. Brian Thomas Jr. with 1 half sack for Kilgore and Zeke, and Nick Emenwari. How about interceptions? 4 by Caleb Downs, 3 by Nick, 2 for Masses, Caleb Rensaw, Whit Weeks with 1, Kilgore, and Swain also with 1. I'm very shocked that we didn't win a natty with Caleb Downs and Nick Emenwari and Caleb Brent. I'm very disappointed on this year, but hey, on to year 3, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I broken the game. It won't let me show the screen. But anyway, we had Georgia Tulane national title, and Georgia and Tulane in a high-scoring affair. But Georgia comes on top 52-42. Isaiah Brown Murray committed. Lavin Scruggs committed. Jackson Howard committed. Luke Evans committed. Chandler Strong commits. And ladies and gentlemen, we have recruited the best class in the nation here in year 2. I think South Carolina is on top right now. Let's hopefully try to make the playoffs here in year 3. Robert Westerman, committed. Xavier Garnett, committed. John Toglia, committed. Gregory Higdon, committed. Alfonso Horn, committed. Dakota Sherrider, committed. Isaiah Folkers, committed. Eric Wall, committed. Jaden Kratos, committed. Jared Holtelying, committed. James Tobin, committed. Matthew Dorsey, committed. Ben Willett, committed. Dewan Wilbur, committed. Russ Hampton, committed. Fernando Samuel, committed. And ladies and gentlemen, we have once again made the SEC championship, and we're going to be taking on Oklahoma. And their 2026 Heisman Trophy winner is Avery Johnson, quarterback from K-State. He had 3,410 yards, 39 tutties, and 1 pick. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, taking on Texas A&M. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We have won the Cotton Bowl onto the semis. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the All-State Sugar Bowl, taking on the Oregon Ducks. And ladies and gentlemen, we took down Oregon. We're on to the Natty. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking on Kansas State for the national title. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. SoFi Stadium. A chance to become legends, a chance to become the kings of college football. Sellers, the man. We have built a very, very talented squad. I think Caleb Downs is still on this team, if I'm not mistaken. Or did he leave us last year? Someone in chat, let me know. I don't know, but we got this. SEC versus Big 12, Kansas State. I mean, I kind of want to say they're overrated in this game, but they usually put together solid squads. Anyway, let's take care of business and win the Natty. 3rd and 8. We are down 17-3. Maybe I talked a little too much, but there we go. Got him. It's picked. Of fucking course. I talked too much. Last score. Got him. We got him. Jacobs. All right. He's going to score. It's going to cut the lead to 10. Let's go. 3rd and 6 here. Here we go. Got him. Brown, he caught it. Sellers oversells it. There we go. 2nd and 10 here. Sellers. Oh, he's got him. That's a tutty. Bennett Jr. makes it 23-17. 2 deep scores, baby. 1st and goal from the 10. It's 29-17. Here we go, Sellers. Please. No, that's picked. Damn it. 2nd and goal from the 10. Sellers. I had him. Gonna run the same play, but it's probably gonna be the 2-minute timeout. Oh, Sellers doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to throw it up. He catches it. Oh, my God. What a play. I can't believe that just happened. We got touchdown defense. We need to stop. Here we go. This is the game right here, right now. 3rd and 10. If we get it, we can win. Come on. We're there. Timeout. Holy shit. We have came back into this game. All we need is a game-winning touchdown. We're going to have no timeouts in 1:30. Bennett, we're just going to fair catch it. All right, 1st and 10 here, boys. Here we go. Right there. Take that. I thought I didn't see anyone over there, man. Guess somebody did come. We just got to get out of bounds here. Here we go. He dropped it. Fuck. 3rd and 9. Sellers. He had him, but he gets hit. All right, here we go. This is the game. Sellers. Got him. There we go. 1st down. Move the chains. First and 10 here. Here we go. Got him. Oh, no, that's picked. Oh, it's dropped. 2nd and 10 here. Here we go. Oh, my God. I thought that was picked. We're moving the chains. Sellers almost at 400 passing yards here. Look, I threw it to the wrong guy. And we're gonna lose the natty on that. Fucking case. I fucking hate this
fucking school. What a passion, dude. They're fucking so irrelevant, dude. They're so good in this game, but they're so irrelevant, man. We have one more year with Sellers before year 5, so hopefully next year is our year. Fuck, I'm very pissed. I threw it right to the wrong guy. It is what it is. Fuck. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 3 stats. Sellers, 4,545 yards, 308 for 467, 50 tutties, 8 picks, 65% completion percentage. Rushing, Brown, 243 for 1,110, 5 tutties. Sellers, 119 for 578, 8 tutties. Kareem, 51 for 204, 9 tutties. Bennett Jr., 19 for 142, 2 tutties. Hooker, 2 for 5. Jacobs, 3 for 3. How about the receiving? Bennett Jr., 76 for 1,215, 17 tutties. Rakeem, 64 for 1,090, 12 tutties. Jacobs, 60 for 1,082, 10 tutties. Brown, the second, 50 for 328, 7 tutties. Russell, 19 for 354, 4 tutties. Brown, 27 for 203. Claire, 6 for 57. Kareem, 4 for 20. How about the defensive here? 97 tackles for Whit Weeks. J.R. Johnson, Whit, 88, 76 for Kilgore. Williams, 63, along with Caleb Downs. Swain with 60, 57 for Floyd, 52 for John, 44 for Zeke, and Desmond with 40. Tackles loss, 8 for John. Desmond with 5, 4 for Whit. Zeke with 4, along with Dylan as well. J.R. Johnson with 3, Kilgore with 2, along with Williams and Howard. 1 for Max Freeland. How about sacks? 7 for John. Desmond with 6.5, 5.5 for Zeke. 4 for Dylan Stewart. Whit with 2.5, 1 for Howard. Swain with a half. Interceptions, 6 by Kilgore, 4 with 4. Caleb Downs with 3, and Swain, Johnson, and Williams had 2. 1 for Whit Weeks. Obviously, we lost in the Natty, but let's try to get back there for year 4.
Jericho Washington Jr. commits. Tayshawn Sanders commits. Milt Ferguson committed. Derek Dandy committed. Sidney Penny committed. Carmelo Overton committed. Josh Wade commits. Jonathan Klein committed. Kiki Wong Woo committed. Jamarion Wilcox committed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the second best class in the nation. We gotta go and win it out of here in year 4. Gideon North committed. David McCord committed. Lorenzo Rossau committed. Sam, whatever that name is, commits. Brian Douglas committed. Jamie Emmanuel commits. Quentin Beckham committed. Dwayne Coker committed. Philip O'Dwyer committed. And Darian Stewart committed. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 12-0. We're going to be taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide to win the Hope. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently number 12 in the land, number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we're currently number 1 in the land, 12-0 currently, and we're going to be going to the SEC Championship, taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We have won the SEC Championship. And ladies and gentlemen, your 2027 Heisman Trophy winner is Lenoris Sellers, quarterback at South Carolina. He had 3,324 yards, 37 tutties, and 2 picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Sugar Bowl, taking on Texas Tech. Ladies and gentlemen, we have won the Sugar Bowl on the semis. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Cotton Bowl, taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And ladies and gentlemen, we have won the Cotton Bowl on the national championship. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking on Michigan for the national title. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in Houston, Texas, NRG Stadium, here in year 4, trying to win the national title and maybe go back-to-back in year 5, or if we lose, we'll have one more opportunity to win it. This is Sellers' final game here at South Carolina. We're trying to bring the Natty back to South Carolina. I don't even know if they've ever won a national title. It's time. It's South Carolina's time. We've recruited the best of the best talent for the past 3 years. Let's win a Natty and try to go back-to-back next year. Let's end on that. Marquise Rooks, 37-yard touchdown, 7-3. 4th and 3 from our own 21. We're down 10, 16 seconds to go. Sellers gonna run. Take off, Sellers. He's got the first. Let's go. Let's see if I can get a verticals here. Here we go. 1st and 10. Can I get it off? Yes, I can. At least get it off and don't take a sack. 3rd and 6. Here we go. Sellers. He's going to run again. Another takeoff with Sellers. He's going to run. All right, let's finish out this drive. Go little verts. Here we go. We need a touchdown or a field goal. One of the two. Dump off. Brown. All right, gets us the 2nd inches there. Here we go. 2nd and inches. Right there in the flat. Hit it. Brown the 2nd.
Dude, how does Sellers only have 59 passes here in the fourth? That's astonishing. Here we go. Right there, over the middle. Bennett Jr. He gets his first single at the 4 here. We need a touchdown here. If we can get a touchdown, we are in business. Here we go. Sellers. Right there. Touchdown, Ellison. We needed that. Down 3 defense. Let's get a stop. They're down at 14 here. 4 minutes to go. Our defense got to stop. Offense, try to cash in on that stop. Here we go. Not on, but it's underthrown and it's picked. He underthrew it. Sellers selling. Fitting as his name. Lenora Sellers selling like a dick. Underthrows it and it's a pick 6. And of course, Lenora Sellers selling. Fitting as his name. Thank God he's gone next year. I mean, he's a good quarterback, bro, but, like, come on. He was open, I threw to him. I mean, you can't blame Sellers. You got to blame me. I mean, we have one more year to win it, but that's just a brutal way to lose. We lose to Michigan. Unbelievable. We'll get him next year, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 4 stats. Lawrence Sellers, 3,749 yards, 288 for 386, 41 tutties, 41 tutties, 4 picks, 74% completion percentage. Wish he could have won an Addy on top of his amazing career here and season. Isaac Brown, 263 for 1,148, 9 tutties. Sellers, 125 for 97, 10 tutties. Little John, 64 for 384, 10 tutties. Bennett Jr., 34 for 116, 1 tutty. Wilcox, 9 for 41. Braswell, 3 for 6 with a tutty. Ellingston, 2 for 4. How about the receiving? Jacobs, 60 for 892, 9 tutties. Bennett Jr., 62 for 883, 10 tutties. Ellingston, 52 for 668, 10 tutties. Brown the second, 46 for 553, 3 tutties. Rooks, 16 for 262, 3 tutties. Trahan, 14 for 256, 5 tutties. Brown, 25 for 245, 1 tutty. Little Johns, 9 for 69, and Kiki, 3 for 6. How about the defense here? 92 tackles for J.R. Johnson, Max Freeland, 84. Solomon, 66, 60 for Carver. Callaway, 56, 54 for Swain. Willis with 53, 51 for John. 43 for Dylan Stewart and Eric Dandy. Tackles loss, 11 for Stewart. Zeke with 10, 9 for McManus. 7 for Dandy. Freeland with 5, 3 for Callaway and Ryder. 2 for Johnson, Solomon, and Sampson. Swain, Willis, Garner, and Overton with 1. Sacks, 14 for John. 8.5 for Dylan Stewart. 5.5 for Dandy. Zeke with 4, 2 for Freeland. 1.5 for JR. Clyde Ryder with 1. The same with Adrian and Sidney. Penny, half a sack for Jackson Howard. Interceptions, 5 by Solomon, 2 by Callaway. Milt Ferguson with 2, Carver with 2, and Mitch Willis, and 1 for J.R. Johnson. Hopefully in this portal we get some more talent, so that way next year we win our national title. Dimitri Coates committed. Edwin Spillman committed. John Wayne Oliver committed. Caleb Beasley committed. Jimmy Boyce committed. And ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the 9th best recruiting class here in year 4. That's the 4th in the SEC, but again, we got our talent in years 1, 2, and 3. Time to win an Addy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, auto recruiting on. Let's get the Simmon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We made the Sugar Bowl. We're taking on Ohio State. We made the SEC championship against Georgia. We beat them. Now we're going to the Sugar Bowl, and we're taking on Ohio State. Let's just win an Addy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the Caesars Superdome for the Sugar Bowl. I believe we were here last year taking on Texas Tech. We beat them last year. We made a natty last year. No offense to Ohio State. They're a good team. We're a better team than Ohio State. We're the new powerhouse college bowl. We should beat Ohio State and make the natty, or get to the semi before we make the natty. Here we go. Ohio State, South Carolina. Let's go. Here we go. 4th and inches from the 12th. We're going to go for it. Here we go. Woods, the new quarterback, taking in for Sellers. Terrible pass. Tyrant Price with a 44-yard touchdown. 10-0 Carolina. Second and goal from the 3. Here we go. Woods to Little John. He's in with ease. 17-3. Carolina. Let's go. And Tyron Prince with a 7-yard touchdown to seal the deal for us. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you we were the better team, and it was a complete mollywhopping of the Ohio State. We beat them 31-3, and we're on to the semis. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, taking on the Boise State Broncos. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in Atlanta, Georgia, taking on Boise State again. I would be shocked if Boise keeps this close. We are the better team. It's not me being petty or cocky. We are better than Boise by a long shot. If they score more than Ohio State, that means we suck. Anyway, this should be an easy easy walk. No offense to Boise. We did rebuild you, though. We won you a natty, I believe. Let's take care of Boise and get back to the national title. And Tyron Prince getting the party started. 17-yard touchdown, 7-0 Carolina. Somehow Boise State got 14. How do they score more than Ohio State? I don't know. Second to go from the 5. Woods rolling out. He's going to take off himself. In there with these, 21-14. Here we are, 3rd and goal from the 5. Chance to make it a 14-point advantage. Here we go, right there, underneath. Woods gets sacked. We'll have to kick the field goal. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm surprised they even scored 2 touchdowns, but they scored more than Ohio State, so at least they can hang their hat on that. But we are the better team, like I was saying. We're going to the national title here. Let's go. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a rematch from the SEC Championship. And of course, it is Georgia. We're taking on Georgia for a chance to win a natty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Arlington, Texas, Jerry's World. And I'm not going to joke around with Georgia, bro. Georgia is no joke. They're no slouch in the pouch. I believe that is a saying. I don't know. They almost beat us in the SEC title. We won 20-17. If you were watching the live stream, you would have saw her. But my internet was acting up, so maybe you didn't. Anyway, Georgia's going to be tough. They're always tough. No matter what school I am, they always seemingly beat me. Here we go. To win a natty at South Carolina, you're going to have to beat the best team in the game. Here we go. Georgia, South Carolina right here, right now. At the 4. Here we go. Hand it off. Little John's going to get in. Cuts the lead in half. We're down 10. This is a big 3rd down here. We're down 10. Woods going to make the adjustment. Got him. We got him. We got him. Got him. Is mommy home? What are you talking about, Ken? Kamal Ellingson with a 7-yard touchdown to put it at a 3-point game here. Well, we're down 10. First and goal at the 8. Let's try to maybe get a touchdown. Maybe. He caught it. Touchdown. Here we go. Onside kick. We need it. Here we go. Do I get lucky? No, because you can't recover an onside kick. You know what? I'm going to go in a little spiel here. Hey, NFL and college football, onside kick is the worst play in football. I don't care if you love the onside kick. Worst play in football. You never recover it. Can we just implement in both leagues, NFL, college, a 4th and 15? I would much rather Creed Woods come out there and try to get a 4th and 15 rather than a kicker. Kicker is the meaningless position in football. Stop putting the games in the hands of a kicker. They're worthless. They're not football players. I'm sorry, but that's true. Get rid of kickers. Let's put the ball in the quarterback, because if we had a 4th and 15, we may have got it. And it's always freaking Georgia that kicks my ass. Always Georgia. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's always Georgia. They always seemingly kick my arse in this game, no matter what school I'm playing as. I could be playing as Kennesaw State, and they still kick our ass. I mean, Georgia's just unbeatable. We never seemingly beat them. I mean, sometimes we get lucky. And, yeah, man, you win some, you lose some. We just happen to lose. I mean, we just happen to lose. We built a really good team. It's just we choked both times in the national title, you know. But, yeah, South Carolina, I think they'll be a really good football this upcoming season, especially since they'll have Lenora Sellers at the helm. Really good quarterback. I'm a big fan of him. Hopefully South Carolina can make the playoff this year. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this video, I want you to hit like, hit subscribe. Guys, so like, subscribe, you guys motivate me to keep doing this. Leave a comment in the comment section. Helps boost the YouTube algorithm, and I'm going to get out of here. So I want you to have a great day or have a great night, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. I'm out.